It has been 9 days since the Rams lost 31-27 to the Seahawks in the NFC Championship game, but time has not healed all wounds for everyone with the Rams just yet. At a press conference yesterday for his new contract extension, Sean McVay had this to say about that game.
I don't know. I might punish myself. That game the other day probably hurt even more than any loss I've ever been a part of. And it's probably because of the love for the team. So I don't know that I'll be tuning in for this one.
As a reminder, the Rams lost in the Super Bowl to a man that is sitting across from me. Do we believe?
They did.
Forgot about that.
Oh, you did? Yeah, I'm sure you did. Do you believe what Sean McVay is saying? This past loss hurt more than maybe the Super Bowl loss or any other?
I've never lost a Super Bowl, so I've only been to one, and
the
one that I went to, I won. So I can't relate in that regard. But I think to what he's saying, the type of team what the aspirations were, I can understand it, but I got to imagine losing in that game. You think about you're losing in the Super Bowl, the confetti's falling. And I would tell people the 2 weeks leading up to the Super Bowl, nobody envisions what it's going to feel like if you come up short. That entire time, all you're thinking about is everything that's going to come after you win the Super Bowl. So it's hard for me to believe that a conference championship loss hurts worse than that Super Bowl loss because there are so many plans being made, so much goes into it. So to get to that point and to fall short, to have all the Super Bowl after party and all the festivities that are already planned out.
Yeah.
I remember going with my brother and he lost that game. You still go to the after party because all your friends and family want to be there and you're trying to celebrate a terrific season that just came up one game short, which feels nearly impossible. So I hear McVay, but I'm not believing that one hurts or stings more than the Super Bowl loss back in 2019.
I say?
I'm inclined to agree with J-Mac because the Super Bowl is the Super Bowl. I heard Jeff talking about the loss to New Orleans and what that felt like for you, so you would know. All I can go by, my only reference material is the people that I've covered and seeing what they were like after they lost. And when you lose a championship, that really, really, really hurts. I would say, however, where the believability factor for Sean kicks in is when you see how prolific this offense was. And you knew what it could do against anybody. Number one in total offense, number one in scoring offense, averaging 30 a game. Knowing that this could potentially be the end for Stafford to just do 4,700 yards for you and 46 touchdowns. And he's talking about maybe not coming back. You're kind of wondering, is this it? Because where am I going to find another guy like that? That kind of thing. So, again, I can't imagine anything tougher than losing the Super Bowl. But it's believable because if you remember when Sean McVay lost 13-3 to Belichick, he was like, I was outclassed, I'm young, I'm learning. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He knows now. And he knows they should have had this game against Seattle. So, it's believable.
I agree. My loss to the Saints was by far my worst loss I ever. But I can believe McVay because of two things. One, they had a 16-point lead on the road and could have closed it out and had home field advantage that they didn't get. So Seattle gets it. Then they got to go back, and it's your nemesis, right? It's your division rival. And so those become painful because you know you were stopped not only for the Super Bowl, but also in your division. They get to go and you got to go watch your division. Those are painful, right? Those are painful losses. And to your point, for him, Stephen A., maybe when he looked at the first loss, because I was actually at the game, I told J-Mac it was one of my favorite Super Bowls. My family, my wife and kids were there. They went back to the back. They were like, I ain't watching this nonsense. It was like 3-3 in the third quarter. But he lost to the greatest coach to do it. And you know, when you're talking about getting there and the experience he had, this one I think probably is more personal because of Mike McDonald in their division and losing it. So he felt that pain of losing that way and that game.
And remember the week prior when they played the Bears, he, after the game, said he felt like he called one of his worst games. He felt like they almost got away with one. That game wasn't very pretty at the end either. So maybe it was 2 weeks in a row feeling like, I just...
And your punter and Xavier Smith flopped the punt. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of circumstances that went in there, and your defense couldn't get a stop in time to get the ball back. They ultimately got the ball back. He could have he could have kicked the field goal, pulled within a point. A couple of decisions he's probably questioned he should have made differently.
For sure. No doubt about it.
Definitely. All right, we got more First Take coming up next. What is the hardest?
paying close attention to as the offseason gets started.
Yeah, A.J. Brown of the Eagles, and the only reason here is that, all the friction that came up during the season between him and the team, his public frustrations. So it's unclear whether the Eagles will trade him or whether the relationship can be mended. It's $29 million in guaranteed money this year, $43.4 million dead money on the Eagles salary cap if they trade him, and $29 million fully guaranteed that the acquiring team would have to pay. It's a situation people are keeping their eye on.
So people wonder, is a change of scenery best maybe for both sides? It hasn't looked at. Why are you shaking your head at me like that?
I mean, I think from your new offensive coordinator, A.J. Brown, they'll work this offseason to try to get, Howie's going to bring them all in, Sirianni will bring them all in. Let's get back to going to win championships. They have a loaded roster. Their offensive line didn't play well this year. A bunch of injuries on that side. They tried it different ways. It didn't work out. They got a new coordinator. I think that stuff gets fixed.
Let me ask you if this matters, because again, let me make it as clear as I can possibly make it. I've never spoken to A.J. Brown in my entire life. So for me to be making the assessment I'm about to make is probably a dangerous thing to do, but I'll do it anyway. Having watched the last 2 years, he does not look like a person who's happy where he is, right? He does not look like a player who's saying, boy, I love playing for this team. I love everything about it. Winning the championship is great. Everyone loves winning a championship. But beyond that, it has looked like a person who would be welcoming of a change of scenery.
He has, and that's why we bring it up. And so what's going on behind the scenes there? Are they talking about, how we address these frustrations, how we handle them better in terms of publicly, and if the relationship is salvageable, which it may very well be.
Doesn't that matter, though? It feels like it matters.
Absolutely. Sometimes you think of the addition by subtraction when you're talking about the chemistry and the totality of the locker room. I think I side more where Jeff is, where when you have a guy like A.J. Brown and on the football field, he can help you win games, and you're in a win-now mode like Philly is, I don't know that I really want to watch that man walk out of my building.
$44 million cap hit for a receiver.
But the cap's
It's too
going
much.
up and up.
Yeah,
Well,
but that's too much of him, so we'll see.
Dead money.
All right, let me go to another play. Give me a quarterback. Give me a quarterback we have an eye on.
Mac
right now.
Jones, backup for the 49ers. He is signed for one more year at about $4.7 million. He played extremely well for the 49ers. This year when Brock Purdy was hurt, played well for the Jaguars. Tail end of last year when Trevor Lawrence was hurt. He has a lot of value, obviously, to the 49ers as a backup quarterback. But if you are a team that needs a quarterback and you're not in position to draft Fernando Mendoza this year, this is a still young player who has played well recently and could probably help someone as a starter or at the very least in competition with someone else to be the starter.
And he's in a spot where you think about the free agent class of quarterbacks. Malik Willis is probably the best quarterback that's going to be available. So for a lot of those teams, you should entertain a Mac Jones conversation and bring him in. I think you look at the success of Sam Darnold. He's playing in a Super Bowl, and you saw him beat in San Francisco where he didn't play, but learned from Shanahan and got to Minnesota. The hope is Mac Jones can do the same thing. He got a chance to go to quarterback rehab down there, and now you get him in your system. Has to be surrounded with the talent and the guys around him. It's worth it.
Yeah, I agree. He showed toughness this season too, man. He got banged up when he was playing for the 49ers, fought through it. You could tell his team rallied around him, and that's as a backup. That just shows you what kind of relationship he has in the locker room. All those are arrows pointing up.
Give me one more name, and I'm not going to like it.
Bears wide receiver DJ Moore. Why don't you like it?
I don't want him traded.